Hello and welcome everyone to the Art of Attraction with Dominey Drew. Thank you so much for joining me. We have a great show for you tonight. Tonight I want to talk about what it is that the exact way that you can tell that she's just not that into you. This is a topic that comes up a lot in my work, and it's really it's really something that I find people really struggle with, especially men struggle with. So we're going to dive into that tonight. I've also got some fabulous stories of single people going to weddings and the amazing things that they say about them, which are hysterically funny comments to the bride and groom from the single friend that they invited to their wedding. So we'll have some fun checking that out as well. So first, a bit about me. My name is Dominey Drew. I run a business called Dominey Drew Coaching, which helps single men attract life partners through personal relationship coaching. I do that primarily through personal development work. I've done this work myself for about 15 years, and I've created, with all of my experience, I've really boiled it all down to an 8-week course called The Art of Attraction, which really helps guys leave that state of loneliness for good, and find that person that they, teaches them how to actually attract and create that relationship to share their life with someone they really have been longing for. So in my work, I see a lot of people come through. I speak to a lot of single men. I think I've spoken to 7 already today. Who are interested in joining the program. You can find out more about that at domineydrew.com, my website. And if you're interested in seeing if I have a video about it online, it's domineydrew.com/hello. And that's really the most direct way to contact me. If you would like to learn more about how I work and how I'm able to get the results I'm able to get so quickly, which is often a question that people ask, please feel free to check out the video. It's domineydrew.com/hello. And what else? I'm on Facebook at Dominey Drew Coaching, Coaching. Dominey is spelled Dominey, by the way. Drew, Drew, and then Coaching. And that's my my Facebook page. And feel free to join the conversation and send me messages. You're also welcome to give me a call if you have any comments or questions about anything that I've covered today. You can reach me at 708-793-7769. And again, that's 708-793-7769. And you're welcome to find me there anytime. So as I said, I've got a great show lined up for you tonight. I'm going to be having some guests start to join me in the future. I'm interested in getting different people's perspectives. So if you have any interest in being on the show, please feel free to reach out. Via the website is probably best. That's domineydrew.com. And you can let me know what you think. And if you have something to contribute, then by all means, feel free to do that. I am just signing on to Skype to make sure that I can actually take your calls. So excuse me for my thoughtful tone for just a minute. I wasn't able to get this working before I logged in. Tried to be more organized, but I want to be able to take your calls. Okay, great. So again, the number is 708-793-7769. So I found this great article online. It's called 14 Tweets That Sum Up What It's Like to Be Single at a Wedding. And as I was reading through this, I started laughing, and I was like, this is something I want to share on the show. So before we dive quite into the real shit, let's take a minute and chat about this. So the first one says, "Gather round, you single losers, so I can throw my used flowers at you. Love, the bride." um, here's another one that says relationship status. Puts down a +1 on a wedding invitation for the extra plate of food. Another one says, the only way I'm coming to your wedding is if you get me a gift. You just found lifelong love. I think I deserve a blender more than you do. That's pretty good. I think I may have have felt similarly from time to time. Here's another one. Just Googled woman who goes to a lot of weddings because I was trying to remember some movie, but Google was like, bitch, that's you. Why do people insist on saying you're next to me at weddings? Do they not realize how serial killery that is? It's very true. Important question. Can I bring a box of Oreos as my +1 to a wedding? I know it's your wedding, Brenda, but my white dress shows cat hair the least. That's fabulous. Other people asking to bring dogs as their +1. A beautiful bride and groom photo with with a single woman stuffing lettuce into her mouth behind them. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Me after being in one wedding last summer. So there could be some pretty fun approaches to being single at a wedding. And don't let that kind of thing get you down either. You know, first of all, you don't have to go to a wedding. Okay? Truthfully, the bride and groom, even if they're your very best friends, I mean, not saying don't go, but, you know, if they're very, very good friends, chances are you're not going to see them much anyway. And, I don't know, sometimes I've wondered if maybe it wouldn't be, you know, more, not just more practical, but that you would get to connect with your friend more if you hung out, you know, with them a little while after the wedding. So obviously that's up to you. It's not that you need to avoid weddings. Also, I don't know, you know, people really talk about a lot of stigma around being single, and genuinely I don't find that. I'm going to be honest. I personally love being single. I'm voluntarily single at the moment. You know, planning on getting married someday, but like genuinely not looking. I'm really, you know, active in my business and helping other people and growing that. So that's where my focus lies, and that's, you know, what I'm in love with at the moment. And and I don't find any stigma around it at all. And I know that people do, and I sympathize with that. I can imagine that must feel, you know, really awful. Another perspective can just be, you know, no, you're incorrect. I'm fine, thank you. You know, so don't feel like it's, you know, everyone's in agreement that being single is wrong. Okay, I work with single people who are looking for life partners. I work with single men who are looking for life partners. But that's only one demographic. There's also a shit ton of men out there who are perfectly happy being single, right? A lot of women out there that are perfectly happy being single. You know, there's no age thing. There's no like, oh, I'm 30. Better get married. Better get hitched. You know, it's sorry to be blunt, but it's thinking like that gives us a 50% plus divorce rate. So, not really a loss if you leave that one, kick that one to the curb, to give them my opinion. So, and we're going to come around back to this about, you know, not just getting into a relationship for the sake of getting into a relationship, okay? But because that's what a lot of people do, and their marriages don't last, you know? The fact of the matter is, if you're using another person to avoid yourself, you know, if you're wanting to be in a relationship just because you don't want to be alone, I don't mean like, you know, you're balancing your life and you're okay, but gosh, it sure would be nice. I mean, like, if you are so lonely that you're willing to settle for anyone just to be in a relationship, you can't really be surprised when that turns out to be a shit relationship, can you? You know? You're kind of setting yourself up for that one. So, so let's start with how can I tell if she's into me or not, right? This is so incredibly common. I mean, it must be, I'm pulling this out of my ass, but maybe 70%, maybe 60 to 70% of the men that I talk to, and I talk to a lot of single men, is is that they're unclear whether or not someone in their life is really interested in them or not. And they're kind of tired of being jerked around. Now these guys are on a free call with me, which I offer as part of my business to see if you're a good fit for my program. So I'm on this free call and we talk for an hour, and I get to hear a lot about what they're struggling with and what they're going through, and who they are. And I'm telling you, I hear this all the time. Absolutely all the time. So it's important. It's really important to have the tools to deal with this kind of situation, because a lot of times guys are sitting around, they have no fucking clue what's going through the woman's head, right? And women, like, let's be real, we don't really help. Okay? We could help by being a bit more direct, right? A bit more honest, and a bit more upfront. And by a bit, I mean a fucking lot, okay? There's no need to make it harder for these guys, okay? So a lot of guys are really unclear. They're trying to figure it out, and they're working so incredibly hard to interpret signals from females, right? So they're spinning their wheels. They have no idea how to interpret what she's saying, what her actions are. Her actions don't match her actions, right? The words and actions are off. She says she's really interested, but she's not texting, or she's always busy, or you can't seem to pin her down for X, Y, and Z. Is this ringing bells for you? So let's make this easy for you. What is she saying? All right, get out your notepads. Okay, what she's saying. Let's make it easy for you. If she's evasive, okay, she doesn't really want to meet for coffee, or she says she does, but she shows you that she doesn't, okay? If she always seems to be busy, okay? If she, all of these ways of being evasive, these are ways of her saying that she's not that into you, okay? Let's take it from the top. She doesn't want to meet for coffee. Let's say, they throw out all sorts of things. They're busy, they have to cancel, I've got a lot going on right now. Things that are vague like that. Vague statements like, oh, I just got a lot going on right now. That's her saying she's not interested. I mean, look at it. Like, look at it directly, right? If you interpret it, you can interpret it very literally. Okay, you could, I'm just noticing this distinction in my head right now. You could interpret it literally from a linguistic, perspective, like the exact meaning of the words, right? Which means she's just got a lot going on right now. Okay? But what would be more useful is to interpret it like literally from like a life perspective. Okay? She has the opportunity to go out with you, and she's not wanting to do that. Okay? She's got something more important than you in her life. Now, the fact of the matter is that when a woman is interested, and I mean a person, really, it's not just women. When a person is interested in another person, they will move fucking mountains to meet you for coffee. Let's be real, all right? She doesn't really have that much going on right now. Okay, what she's saying is she's got things she's more interested in doing than hanging out with you. Okay, which is fine. That tells you where you stand in her estimation right now. Okay? Now, this is something that I really want to, I kind of discovered through just watching life and watching people and how they react and what they mean and what they say and things like that. And I had this realization, and this is it. People are always being 100% honest about who they are. Always. Okay? So, she's always being 100% honest about who she is. Okay? So in that moment, if she's, she keeps ditching your calls or your invites for coffee and saying that she's got a lot going on or she just can't right now. It's not that she can't right now. What's happened? Like, look at the actual situation. She's being cagey, right? So that's the situation. She's showing you who she is. She's someone who's cagey in these kinds of situations. Okay, so so she's, avoiding trying to meet you for coffee. Okay, she always seems to be busy. Again, it's not a thing. That's just flat out not a thing. Okay, I'm not saying that if there's somebody she's really really interested, and she's away for a week, or she's out of reception for a few days because she's camping, or she's but she actually genuinely wants to meet. But if that's the case, you won't be confused. Okay? The fact that you're confused means she's unclear. Okay? If she were clear, she would communicate clearly with you, and she would say, yes, I want to meet you. I can't do it this week. How about Tuesday at 4 o'clock? Right? So there's no unclarity in that. I'm busy between now and Tuesday, but I want to meet you. That's clear. So let's do that. Right? So that's a really big shift from the way that a lot of people hold this in their lives. Okay? And it's a really significant shift. It really is. So if you assume that people are being honest about who they are, then you're looking at the situation objectively, not like, oh yeah, she said she's really interested. She just hasn't been able to meet for the last month. Probably not. Unless you're flirting with Lady Gaga and she's on a tour in like Asia or something, I think she's probably just not that into you. Okay? And when you're unclear, okay, it can be a real struggle. Okay? You can test this, by the way. You can test all these methods. For example, if you can't meet for, trying to get her to meet for breakfast and she says she's super interested, but she can't, fine. Pull away a little bit. See if she comes towards you. See how often she comes towards you. Maybe she comes towards you and you guys hang out once, but then she doesn't call you back afterwards for like a while. Then she just wants a once-a-month friend. Again, she's being 100% honest. Watch their actions. Okay? Watch people's actions without interpreting them. Just see it exactly for what it is. Okay, I followed Dominey's amazing advice, and I backed off a little bit, and she did come towards me, but she only pursues me to hang out, twice a month. Okay, so then that's how much she's interested in you. Do you want somebody that you hang out with twice a month, or do you want somebody who wants to hang out with you more? Okay, we'll get more into that in a minute. All right, always seems to be busy, not a thing. Doesn't want to meet for coffee. Okay, she's taking ages to text you back. She doesn't prioritize your message. You guys aren't that close. Okay, and that can happen immediately, by the way. Maybe not for everyone. Okay, so don't take that as a deal breaker, but that can happen immediately. I've met people, on Tinder who I connected with right away and felt very, very close with right away, and we texted a few, 100 times in the next 2 days, and then met up the next night. That's what it's like when both people are excited about it, right? And we were excited about it. Okay? And you get along, right? Found other people who were excited about me, and I was just not that excited about them. And I was polite, but I was like, I'm not that excited about it. I'm sorry. I also communicate better than most, though. But, that's not a wild thing to expect from a woman. And we'll get there later. But, you don't need to take this crap either. You can say, listen, are you interested? If not, please let me know so that I can move on. I mean, truly. If you ask a question without a lot of, emotional charge around it. For example, if you're like, God, do you even care about me? See how there's, like, charge around that? There's, like, pressure around it. It's like, if you say that you don't, it's not an objective question. There's attachment to the answer, right? So if you say, God, don't you even care about me? It indicates that you expect them to say yes. Okay? ask it in a way, whether it needs to be text, email, if you can do it in person and call, whatever. Ask in a way that's actually objective and genuinely be okay with the answer. She may not be that into you. That means she's not the right one for you. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean she's amazing and you could never win her. She's not that interested in you. So that means you don't light her up. Okay? That's okay. She's not the right one. Chalk it up to misfortune and, go on to the next thing. Okay? There's a little bit of a stronger sense of self that's necessary here. We're making these jokes about people being alone at weddings. But genuinely, it's okay. It's a wedding. It's fun. You are not an incomplete person. It can feel that way sometimes, and that's very real. That's not to be dismissed either. Like, oh, I know I shouldn't feel that way. We've had talks about shoulding. Don't should all over yourself. Okay? So if you have a should in there somewhere, let it go. All right? There's no should. There's nothing wrong with being single. If you want to meet someone, great. Meet someone. But meet someone who's excited about you. Okay? All right, other ways to know that she's not that into you. She's reluctant to give out her phone number. Okay? Now, this one can be a bit tricky, and I'll take some responsibility on this one because I'm super cagey about giving out my phone number. I just, my family is like one of those families that like hates giving out their information. Like, I don't like giving the bank my email address. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like having my information. So that, that can create some friction up front. You need to walk that line. Okay? Now, even if I'm super interested in someone, I'll be like, okay, so I know that about myself, right? I'm a developed female, and I know that about myself. So if somebody asks, if we're on Tinder and somebody asks for my number, I say, listen, I'm really uncomfortable actually giving out my phone number, nothing personal. How would you feel about meeting for coffee instead? So you see how if it's my intention to meet you, I'll meet you straight off Tinder. There's no problem there, right? So I don't have any need to be cagey in that situation. You know what? I apologize. I know this seems weird and a little typical. I'm not comfortable giving out my number. However, and then see, I indicate my interest. I assure them of my interest. However, I'm interested in meeting you in person. Could we do that? Okay? So that's the response of a female who has a particular phone issue that's not actually related to dating or men or you or her interest level. And you can see that I made up for it in a different way. I still wanted to meet that person. Okay? So if she's reluctant to give you her phone number and then it's sort of like, no, I'm not really sure, and then doesn't follow up, again, she's not chasing you. She's not that into you. Okay? Okay, so you talk to someone and she's mentioning that she still has something going on with her ex. Now, I'm not a rule person, people, okay? I don't think that there are expectations and rules as far as when you go out on a date. For example, I talk about my exes, and I didn't even realize that was a negative thing until I was out on a date with a guy who, like, brought up his ex and then, like, verbally was like, oh, God, you're not supposed to bring up your exes. I broke, like, the rule of dating. And I was like, there are rules? Like, what does that mean? What rules are there? Like, tell me the rest of them. Maybe I'm breaking them, So, so this is a really, it's a really interesting thing. These sort of rules that we have in mind for when we go on dates. And mostly the people that I've found have them are the men. You guys work really hard for us. I know. Just so that you know, some of us see that. Okay? I know how much worry and angst and anxiety and stress goes into dating women, and it can be tough. So the first way to make that easier is to take some of the pressure off yourself. Okay? Just looking at a comment here about somebody who had a question. It's not quite relevant, but we'll answer it later on. So, so I understand that, it can be difficult to to really put yourself out there. First of all, women can be kind of terrifying, which I get. And that's kind of the way things are. But there are a lot of solutions so that you don't have to feel that way. Okay, that's basically, what I'm doing with my clients is I'm helping them, to let go of their negative relationship patterns, to let go of all these beliefs of things that they have to do and have to say, and that when a woman does this, it means X, and when a woman does this, it means Y. And it's like, well, she just did that. So what does that mean for you? How do you react to it? Things like that. Okay. So rules aside, as I said, I talk about my exes. I talk about my exes because my most recent ex, we dated for 3.5 years, and it was a big chunk of my life. So it tends to come up in conversation. I don't talk about him all the time. I don't talk about him every day. I don't talk about him every week. But like, if I'm on a date and we're talking about, they ask, where I moved from Asheville from, I'll say I moved there from Florida and I was living in Florida with my ex. I'm, that's also not a threat to that person. I'm confident about that, right? So if that as a rule makes you uncomfortable, that's not necessarily a deal breaker. However, if she's talking about going back to her ex, if she's talking about her ex like he's still active in her life, and you got to be careful with this because sometimes, there's kids and maybe there's a good reason the ex is in her life, but use your intelligence, right? Objectively listen to the conversation. How does she sound? Does she sound still kind of into him? You can even ask. Being direct may not get you a direct answer back, but that answer, whether it's direct or not, will give you an answer, will give you information about that situation. I think I'm going to do an entire episode on dating rules, actually. That's a good one. I just made a note. Okay. So, so if she's always going on about her ex, if she's thinking about going back to her ex, like, that's drama to avoid, right? We talked about drama in a past episode, and the incredible toll that it takes, emotionally, physically, financially. I mean, these things, they hit hard. I've got a client who was he was single, and like that in itself wasn't like so bad, but the loneliness was driving him to drink, to avoid it. So that made it a physical issue, right? And oftentimes, if you're single and you're unhappy, then you're not doing as well at work. You're not excelling. You're not excited about it. You're not, taken care of when you go home. You're not going home to someone. So that all takes effect on your system, and a lot of that is really about, really affects your finances as well. So this is an issue that affects all areas of your life. Obviously, your psychology and your psychological and emotional selves and mental selves are obviously affected. But financial, physical, the stress alone can create major issues. So if she's got something going on with her ex and she sort of indicates, she's this and she's that about it, cut her loose. She's not that into you. Okay? If she's talking about him, like how terrible he was, but she does it a lot, bring it up. Don't ever be shy to bring it up. The fact of the matter is, if you can't fucking talk about something before you guys are in a relationship, then what on earth gives you the impression that you're going to be able to talk about something when you are? Again, people are always being 100% honest. If something about her makes you nervous and like you can't bring things up, is that the relationship that you want to be in? Is that what you're seeking? I want someone beautiful and semi-interested who, I don't feel comfortable being myself around. Well, that might be worth looking at, right? So again, be aware of that, okay? These are deal breakers, okay? If she cancels often with flimsy excuses, nah, not that into you. If in general she seems flaky or uncertain, she's not that into you, okay? And this is not so much about, the men are expected to initiate. Feel free to initiate. If that's the way you like, some women like men to initiate. Some men like to initiate. Also, some women don't like men to initiate, and vice versa. So fine, initiate. But don't chase down someone who's not giving you anything in return. They're being 100% honest. It's going to be the same in relationship. Okay? If you win her, if you finally get her to have coffee with you, is that the woman that you want to be with? A woman that you have to lasso down to have coffee with you? Because that doesn't sound that great for me as far as a relationship goes. Okay. So all of those reasons. She doesn't want to meet for coffee. She's always busy. She's taking ages to text you back. She's reluctant to give out her number. She mentions things that are still going on with her ex. She cancels often with flimsy excuses. In general, she seems flaky and uncertain. Those are deal breakers. Okay? I don't care how long you've been going together. It's, if you can't, if she's not showing any enthusiasm or putting in any effort to the relationship, ditch her. Okay? Done. Spoiler alert, she's not that into you. Okay? And, do you want to be with someone who's not that into you? Or would you rather be with someone who can't wait to see you, who rearranges her schedule to find time to hang out with you, and who really loves you? Right? I mean, isn't that what you're really after? Isn't that why you're on Tinder, ultimately? Okay? If that's the case, then stop chasing the ones that don't give a shit. Okay? She's showing you clearly that she doesn't give a shit. You're just not believing her. You're deluding yourself. Okay? Women will be clear. Women can pursue. They are perfectly capable. If they're not inclined to, then they're not interested. Okay? So, who are you going for, right? What kind of woman is it that you want to get into a relationship with? So, a lot of guys that I sort of talk with casually really approach dating like a numbers game. Like, the more the better. Okay? This isn't like fishing. Alright? Like, guys will get on Tinder and be like, oh, I just swipe right for absolutely everyone. And then whoever I can get to go out with me, then I talk to those people. Okay? Excuse me. Swiping right on everything and taking what you can get. Okay? I'm just going to ask you a real honest question right now. If that's your approach to dating, can you really be surprised that you're not getting quality women who are interested in you? Like, there's no self-respect in that approach. You're just throwing shit out and saying, you're literally saying, I will take whatever I can get. Well, boom. Here's what you can get. You can get dodgy females, who may look pretty or may not look pretty. They don't want to meet you for coffee. They're not interested in you, my friend. They're just not. Which is great. That means they're not the one for you. So ditch them and move on. Find one who is. Okay? So it's not a numbers game, you guys. All women are not created equal. Okay? It's not like the more women you get, the better. Now, I'm not talking about just getting laid, by the way. If you just want to get laid, then yeah, like, play a numbers game if that feels safe for you. Do what you got to do on that one. That's fine. This is really about finding someone who loves you. Okay, this is about finding someone who loves you for who you are. Okay, not just finding people for sex, which is fine. Right? Nothing wrong with finding people for sex. I'm a big fan. But the solutions will be different, right? If you're just looking to get laid, then your tactics will be different because it will be worth tying her down. That's more like a pickup artist type of tips and tricks approach, which is not mine because not because I'm pro monogamy or committed relationships by any means, but because the work that I do is about personal development work. It's about becoming a better you. All right, so that's the angle from which I'm teaching at this point. Okay, so I'm going to ask that question again because it's extremely important. If taking what you can get is your approach to dating, can you really be surprised that you're not getting quality women who are interested in you? Okay. So if you are in this situation, what's the solution? Right? How do you attract a woman and actually be happy some way other than, swiping right on absolutely everyone and chasing down women who don't like you that much, okay? First step, self-respect. That is flat out it. When guys really criticize women for only wanting like aggressive men, or guys see men who have like a huge amount of confidence and they envy them and they think, oh, women only want those types of men, and they're aggressive and they're assertive and they're dominant and da da da. None of that is accurate. Okay? The thing that women are attracted to in men like that is that they respect themselves. Okay? That gives them confidence, which is then more attractive. So yeah, women do want men like that, but not because they're aggressive or dominant or even assertive, which is, just a quality. It's just a quality, right? It's not for every woman. Some women are terrified of men. Do you know that? Terrified. So a big, burly, aggressive man that a lot of men think all women want is not their cup of tea at all. Okay? Men with huge dicks aren't necessarily what every woman wants. Okay? Some women can't handle that. They literally can't take it. It's not fun. It hurts. They're not built that way. So that would not be an ideal man for that woman. So you see what I mean? Like, when you start to look at it objectively, there is someone out there for everyone. Okay? So be aware of that and try not to get lost in stereotypes and generalizations, because they can really hold you back. All right. So self-respect. So this is the absolute first thing. You need to learn to love yourself. Okay? I know we're getting way into everybody's self-help alarm is going off right now. Calm the fuck down. I'm going to give you real steps to do this, okay? All right. First step. So you're single, right? You're single. It's okay. The world is not ending. You don't have to be in a relationship. People who are in relationships are not necessarily happier. Let me just say that again. People who are in relationships are not necessarily happier. Okay? That's really important. They're exactly as happy as you would be if you were with someone right now. You would be exactly as happy as you are now. Okay? Because happiness, hate to break it to you, is an inside thing and not an outside thing. Okay? So, learning to love yourself. So the first step is you're being single. You're single. Be okay being single. Okay? Really work on it. Really actively work on being okay with being single. Challenge all those beliefs that you have that are around, what your mother says and how old your friends were when they got married. Your friends are going to be divorced in 2 years. Who the hell cares? I mean, really. The divorce rate this high, no one knows how to have a good relationship. The whole thing's a mess. And it's totally equivalent to being single. There's different problems and there's different, joys and pleasures, but there are still both. Okay? And you've got both now. So something to keep in mind. So being okay being single. So how do you do that? All right? Fill your life up with things that you're passionate about. Okay? Take some pressure off of meeting someone. Okay? You can get really intense about it, really focused on it, and honestly, it leads to desperation. Okay? So if you're in that desperate place, totally no, I get it, I've been there. Let it go. Okay? Try and really actively focus on other things. Okay? And that's a really sacred thing. That's a really sacred thing. Okay? Move your focus away from what you're unhappy with right now. Okay? Because the more unhappy you get, the more you focus on it, right? So it tends to get this bigger and bigger thing in your life. And then when you meet someone, you finally do meet someone, you sit down at a cafe, your desperation is oozing out of your pores, and they can feel it, and they're turned off by it. So in that way, you prove yourself right. And that's the way these things work. There's an issue underneath the surface. It is communicated to the world around you, and the world reacts accordingly. The bad news about that is these are often unconscious and you don't know why the world's reacting that way. The good news is by watching the world around you, you're actually able to always have a mirror. You always have a sounding board for what's going on with you. If everyone's, nobody wants to hang out with you all of a sudden, then you can be like, wonder what I'm putting out that's causing everyone to be busy at the same time for a week, right? Things like that. Okay, so fill your life up with things that you're passionate about. Stop thinking about women and dating. What do you like to do? Okay, do you like soccer? Do you like poker? Do you like, playing with your dog? Do you want to, take a class at school? What are you passionate about when you're by yourself? Because if you can develop yourself a little bit, then it does a number of things. One is it takes the focus on the pressure off of meeting someone, okay? Two is that it actually helps to develop yourself a little bit, okay? And three is that it makes you ready for when they come along, okay? It helps you to know yourself better. And a couple things happen when you know yourself better, and the most important of which is that you know what you want, okay? You are so focused on the other when you're single and desperately unhappy. You're so focused on the other making you happy that it puts pressure on that person to make you happy, which, FYI, is literally impossible in the world, okay? Another person cannot make you anything. Certainly can't make you happy. Okay, that's got to be done for yourself. So, you don't have any prospects anyway right now, right? You're struggling in the dating scene, so great. Give it up for a bit. Or just do it casually, but don't, limit yourself. 20 minutes a day on Tinder, done. Or whatever is important for you. Or delete it off your phone. It's not working anyway, right? So if you continue doing what you're doing now, do you expect to get a different result? Okay, so fill up your life with things you're passionate about. If you're sitting at home twiddling your thumbs and being unhappy, then go out. Not just to a bar and sitting there being unhappy. Go do an activity, right? Go meet people. It doesn't even matter if you like it. Fill your day up so that you're busy, right? And find things that you're passionate about. Get to know yourself better, okay? Next thing. Develop yourself, really. Learn new things, okay? Become the man that's worthy of a high-quality female. If you don't, you can't really expect to attract one, can you? You're on different levels. So raise your level, okay? Go take a course. If you've always thought about, getting that degree and you can right now in your life, go get that degree, okay? Take courses. Watch, YouTube videos and learn something. Learn something new. Develop a skill. Find things you're passionate about. Find a meetup with a group of people that are interested in the same things you are, if you like creative writing, or if you like engineering, or you like physics, go learn those things. Audit classes. Go to talks. Listen to podcasts. Better yourself. Okay, you have nothing else to do right now. All the time that you're sitting around being unhappy, if that is the state that you're in right now, can be put toward bettering yourself, preparing yourself for being with this woman once you meet her. Okay? So that does a number of things. It takes the pressure off, and it also helps you to develop, who you are, so that when you do meet her, you're a more complete person. Okay? She's going to see that and admire it more, right? Because you've got some self-reliance. You're interested in yourself. Okay? A little phenomenon kind of happens when a guy is single for a long time and sort of in that place of desperation where they really kind of despise themselves. There's a level of self-hatred. And self-hatred is not uncommon in the world. I used to have tons of it. And now I'm just, madly in love with myself. And there's that element of lack of self-worth, right? That's why being lonely is so painful. So the lack of self-worth is one thing. and people can feel that. Okay, so when you walk in to have that coffee with, that woman that you found online, if you have low self-esteem, she can feel that. Let me say that a different way. If you don't think you're worth anything, she won't either. Okay? So you've got the empty hours, right? Develop yourself. Okay? Learn new things. Become the man that's worthy of the woman that you want to attract. Okay? And again, that will release the pressure. Okay? As the pressure increases on an interaction, so do the rate of fuck ups. Okay? So so develop yourself. All right, next step. Relax. Okay? Take your focus and put it in other areas of your life and take it off of dating and women for a while. Okay? You can even say a rule. You're like, I'm not going to date for a while. I'm going to take 3 months. I'm not going to date. That'll probably have them rolling in, to be perfectly honest, as long as you really mean it. Okay? All right, so that's the first step. Those are all steps to get to work on that self-respect. Okay? And if you get down to it, write shit on cards, man. Write yourself affirmations. Like, what do you think is true about yourself? I think I've brought this up in this show before. Write down a list, a very honest list of everything that you know is true about you. Exactly how terrible you think you are, and how worthless, and how unattractive, and da-da-da-da. And I want you to take each single one and write the opposite statement and put it on a card and put it in your house. I mean, I don't know, I feel like an idiot doing that, but I'm going to be honest, I've done it before and it works goddamn miracles. So, I'll feel silly for that shit, right? I'd rather feel silly and have my problems fixed. So anyway, do whatever you can, okay? So, the intention of all of this is to get to the point where you realize that you deserve better. You deserve better than the fucking runaround from some chick on Tinder. Okay? If you're chasing girls down to get coffee with you, seriously? Are you a self-respecting man? Ditch her. You can do better. You can do better. Not her. You. Okay? You do deserve better. But if you don't think you do, then you really don't. And you'll attract women who don't think that you do either. Okay? So if you don't think that you deserve better, we've talked about this in the past. You teach people how to treat you. That's really significant. The shit that you put up with in a relationship is the shit that will continue. The shit that you nip in the bud will not. Okay? So get to know yourself, raise your standards for yourself, and that's step one. Second, and I mean second, as in after the self-respect piece is well on its way, then put yourself out there and do it consciously. Okay? Do it intentionally. Do it while respecting yourself. Right? The modality doesn't matter. Truthfully, if you say, I'm going to take if you legitimately commit, you say, I'm going to take the next 3 months and I am not going to date and I'm going to go on meetups and meet some new friends and, I've always been passionate about drawing. I'm going to take a drawing class and I'm going to take an intensive and I'm going to get really good. And, and you start to learn, educate, and up your game, okay? And develop yourself. Great. Okay? Great. Do that. Develop yourself. Be that man. Okay? If you do that, chances are she will fall right in your lap. Really. It's actually not an exaggeration. I can't guarantee that you do because, your intention in making that commitment to yourself might vary. But if you truly commit to yourself and you take the focus off her, you know what? I'm not even thinking about girls anymore. I'm so excited about, this, drawing class or, whatever it is that you're excited about. I'm so excited. I'm going to go do my master's. Great. Go do that. Chances are you will meet her in class. You will trip over each other on the way to the to the lunch hall, whatever. So Um, so really be aware of that. So then, once you've really gotten this place where you're respecting yourself more, you've raised your standards, then yes, put yourself out there. Get back on Tinder. It's fine. Do so consciously. Be intentional about it. Do it while respecting yourself. Okay? Again, modality doesn't matter. Fine. Be on Tinder. Tinder's fine. Tinder's not just for hookups. Tinder is just is what it is. It's just a platform. Okay? If you use it for hookups, it can certainly be used for hookups. If you use it to find a committed relationship, you can certainly find that. It's you only need one. So whether what everyone else is doing or what most people are on Tinder, yes, but life is not a game of chance. That's not how life works. Okay? You are on some level creating everything that you see in your life right now. You have to take responsibility for that if you want to change anything. Truly, there is no way around that. I would have found it if there were. Okay? So yeah, when you're ready, put yourself back out there, okay? So if you do get it back on Tinder, do it consciously. Be aware of how it's going to look when you make your profile, okay? Make a profile to attract the kind of woman you want to attract, not just to attract a female. Like, oh, I really want this profile to attract some boobs. Okay. Those boobs are going to run you around for like a month trying to nail her down for a cup of coffee. Mark my damn words. You can do better. Okay. So, write your Tinder profile for the woman you want to attract. And then if people don't seem enthusiastic or don't follow up or aren't, engaged, let them go. Okay? So think about it. What is the where? So Tinder. So that's one way. But also, go out in life like we used to do in the '80s. Remember that shit? Remember when we just went out and like lived life? It's crazy town. We're just out in the world all the time, and now we're mostly behind screens. That might just be me. But so think about it. Going out. All right, where would you go? Where does the kind of woman you really want, once you've sat down and thought about it and designed it out, not just one that you can have sex with, where does she hang out? Okay? Go to meetup groups that you're interested in. Go to places you're passionate about. Again, step 1 and step 2, or the self-respect and the, putting yourself out there, they blend. Because as you're going through life, just living your life, then you will meet her. That's exactly how it happens. You live life, you have self-respect, you're not just going to settle for anything, you're going to wait for something that's good. That is what's attractive to a woman. My lord, are you kidding me? There's no desperation there. Okay? So then the third piece. First one is self-respect. Second one was putting yourself out there consciously. And then the third one is raise your damn standards. Okay? And there's two halves of this. One is raise your standards for the kind of for the way that you're willing to be treated, right? What am I trying to say? Raise your standard for acceptable treatment. Okay, I will not be treated this way. Okay, I will not be strung along for 2 months. If you're very busy, or you've got kids, or your life's a little hectic, great. I'll try for about 2 weeks, or whatever it is for you. Maybe you'll try for a month because you're really into this chick, or whatever. But if she hasn't, and I would even communicate that, honestly. I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. Listen, let's try and get together. Do you think there's time we can get together in the next 2 weeks? And if she says no, it'd be like, all right, well, it seems to me like maybe you're not that interested. Is that accurate? And again, release expectation of the answer. Okay? And also watch her actions. So if she's like, oh my God, no, I'm so sorry. This is really great. I'm really excited about it. Okay. Are you, though? Because you don't seem to want to get together. I'm confused. Please explain. Right? Put it on her. If she's got a good explanation and you think it's solid, go with it. If it's flimsy and you're going with it anyway because it's something to do, up your game. Okay? So it's big. Raise your damn standard. You deserve better than the runaround. Okay? First things first, you have to believe that. You have to. Okay? Then show it to the world. And believe me, when you do that, she will show right up on your doorstep. Okay? That's just how the world works. All right? So, really be aware. I know that things can get really unclear in the online world. I know that we're in a super digital age, and, how love and commitment and relationships are fitting into all that is, it's a little wonky, right? It's okay. Some of that will be natural. There is a lot of online stuff. There's a lot of there's a lot of anonymity in online dating. It's very easy to ghost. It's very easy to drop off, and unfortunately, that's the case. However, look at it from a different perspective when that starts to get to you. Okay, this woman is not interested in you. Okay, she's not chasing you down. She's not treating you probably like the way you want to be treated. So is she really worth chasing around? Right? Why not raise your standards, connect with yourself, find your self-worth, go looking for it. Am I worth anything? I mean, that's the fear, right? Is that you're not worth anything. You don't know that for a fact. You've just decided that. So check it out with reality. Does anyone like you? I bet someone does. Right? But the most important thing is, do you? And if not, okay, that's good information. What can I do? What can you do to become someone that you like? Because, not just women, people can feel that kind of thing. I talk about it on here a lot. What we believe unconsciously, in our subconscious, is very, very powerful. It runs your life. I mean, it runs your life. Not like a person's life, your life. Okay? It runs it. It rules it. It's a very powerful thing. Okay? And to become aware of that, it's not something that you're like a blame or you're trapped in it or anything. Quite the opposite. If you know that it's something that you're doing, you're in control. Okay? You can adjust it and fix it. So this is the way out of this. This is the way out of this loneliness. This is the way out of that desperation, that isolation which often comes. Okay? You need to develop a relationship with yourself. It's the longest one you're ever going to have, whether you're single or married. Right? Self-examination has got to be the first step, because without self-examination, you don't even know what you want. You don't know who you are, what you like. You're just on Tinder swiping because, you're what's the phrase? You're fighting for scraps. You're fighting for scraps. Like, that's what's happening. Right? You're taking whatever female looks your way, and you're, treating her like she's the best thing ever, and she's maybe not doing the same. And what will fulfill that longing in you, that loneliness, is finding someone who loves you and pursues you as much as you do. Okay? So that's why the last step is raising your standards. Okay? Learn to love yourself. Put yourself out there intentionally, and then raise your damn standards. Okay? You deserve better. First step, believe that. Then show it to the world. And believe me, she'll show right up on your doorstep. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a fantastic time. Have a great rest of your week. This is Dominey Drew, signing off.